Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
Pittsburgh Steelers, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Oh. Houston, this is Pittsburgh Steelers. We are ready for the event.
Greetings, Josh, and welcome on board the International Space Station. Really quick, we were joined by all of the football players that we have on board, and we'd like to introduce ourselves real quick. Victor Glover, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, running back.
Mike Hopkins, University of Illinois, Fighting Illini, defensive back.
Soichi Noguchi, University of Tokyo, wide receiver.
Do you guys have a football up there that you guys get to throw around for practice and everything?
Yeah, and it's actually a little harder than you think. Not having gravity makes it a little tougher to throw a nice spiral at your intended target.
I could only imagine.
It's great to have you on board, and thank you for being such an ambassador to our youth about hard work and the importance of a good STEM education.
Well, I appreciate it. It's an honor to be aboard and talk with you guys this morning. You guys are living out all of our childhood dreams right now. So we definitely look up to you guys and appreciate all of your hard work and setting an example for us and aspiring us to achieve our dreams each day as well.
You know, I was reading your bio and some of the events you've been able to do with NASA, your externship with Kennedy Space Center there in Florida. And, man, I read that you graduated with an aerospace engineering degree with a 4.0. Have you ever considered becoming an astronaut?
So, funny story, during my time at NASA, while I was down there, they actually had me do the astronaut application video. And so they slipped in a little ad-lib that I'll be applying as an astronaut. So NASA's kind of has forced my hand. I got to go back and get my secondary degree, and I guess I'll be putting my name in for an astronaut application since I've already promised it to them. Would hate to break a promise to NASA.
I like the sound of that. Hey, good luck with that master's degree.
Thank you. So I think everyone's in. It's 9:50. So we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules to join us with this exciting conversation this morning. My name is Joshua Dobbs, and I'm a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm also a certified rocket scientist, courtesy of the University of Tennessee Tickle College of Engineering. However, I'm not even close to the level of rocket scientists as the people we'll be speaking to today. I'm really excited to introduce NASA astronauts Commander Victor Glover and Mission Specialist Soichi Noguchi, along as the rest of the crew from Expedition 64, as they are currently serving on the International Space Station. Thank you guys for being with us this morning. How is it going in space? I guess that's the first question everyone is dying to know.
Well, thank you, and welcome to the Steelers organization and to all of the fans. It's great to have you on board with us on the International Space Station. We've been up here as Crew 1, Mike and Soichi, Shannon, and myself for just over 60 days, and it's going great so far. Lots of work. Science. We had 2 cargo vehicles on that we just sent back to Earth, and we are now preparing for EVAs and continue to do maintenance to keep the station flying. But most important, we've got a family up here. There's a crew of 7 of us that work together and see each other on a regular basis, and it's great to be up here to fellowship. And it's great to not have to walk around wearing a mask. And so I know that the pandemic is still going on, so we think about folks on Earth all the time and how things must be going down there. So how are you doing?
Oh, we are doing well. Every day is progress. So the spirits are high down here. We are excited to learn about your journey in space. And before we get started, I will say for all of our students, if you want to see both the astronauts and myself on this call, you can head over to NASA's TV's Facebook page, where you're able to see broadcasts of both video links. I know this call is mainly eager students who aspire to both maybe be a football player, but definitely be an engineer and hopefully one day be an astronaut. So I guess the most popular question that we've gotten is what has sparked your guys' interest to join the field of engineering?
Well, I will start with my fifth grade science teacher, Mr. Hargrove. You know, that was 35-ish years ago. My interest in math, encouraged him to suggest that I consider engineering. And I'll be honest, at the time, I thought that meant driving trains. I didn't know what math had to do with driving trains because I didn't know any engineers. But Mr. Hargrove's belief in me still continues to resonate today and is one of the reasons that I chose engineering as a profession.
I think definitely compared to that, me growing up, being fascinated in math and science, being good at it, as I'm sure yourself. I heard your call sign is Ike. We can get into what that means a little bit later. But being good at math and science, having affinity for learning engineering, for me, I had a love and passion for aviation and space. So kind of combining those two passions is what drove me to join the field of engineering, get an aerospace engineering degree. And I love, the critical thinking that engineering makes you do. So being able to have a problem, solve the problem quickly, and repeat process is why I love the field of engineering. I know, Victor, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first time on the space station. So we would love to just hear what the experience is like, what a day is like for an astronaut on the International Space Station. And I hear you're coming up on your first spacewalk, so what that preparation is like.
That's correct. This is my first mission aboard the International Space Station, my first time in space, and it has already exceeded my expectations. Flying Crew Dragon Resilience here, the spacecraft made by SpaceX, and living on board the space station with this great experienced crew, learning from them. It's been great. Every single day has been a learning experience, but also an amazing opportunity. Looking out the cupola window at the Earth, it's just been awe-inspiring. It is a time for us to begin changing gears and getting ready for a spacewalk. And again, that'll be my first time doing that. So I'll just say we have a lot of studying, a lot of work to do to get ready for it. And I'm looking forward to that.
That's great to hear. I know I have a question for Sochi. I looked him up and I saw that he was a part of the return to flight mission for the shuttle. And growing up, I'm sure as many of us, we used to see the shuttles take off from down at Kennedy Space Station. And it definitely was an iconic space figure for us. So Shochi, my question to you is, what has been the difference, transitioning from, what was it like flying the shuttle and being part of a shuttle mission, and what has it been transitioning now to the capsule spacecraft?
Hey, Josh. Thanks for the question. And first of all, it's been quite an honor to talk to you. The American football is a great interest to me, and you guys are real true hero. And question about the space shuttle. Yeah, I was very happy to fly 3 different space vehicles: space shuttle, Russian Soyuz, and the SpaceX Crew Dragon. Everything, it's important thing is to bring the people up and safely return. So in that sense, all 3 vehicles are great, and I think the SpaceX Crew Dragon definitely is very roomy, and 4 of us enjoyed the 2-day flight up here, and for us also the important thing is a great view from the capsule. Right now, our Commander Hopper is using the window for every night, enjoying the view. So I let him talk about the Crew Dragon more.
Yeah, Josh, I'd just like to say thanks as well. It's great to talk to you and the Pittsburgh Steelers and all of the students that are out there. Yeah, I had the privilege of actually getting to sleep in our vehicle that brought us here to the International Space Station, the Crew Dragon Resilience. And Soichi mentioned it. One of the best things about it is we actually have windows. The crew quarters that these guys stay in is a little more inside the station, and there aren't any windows. And so each night when I go into my crew quarters and call home, I get to share the views with my family, which is pretty special.
I know we are all jealous of your guys' view each night, going to sleep and looking up on the stars and even seeing the Earth. So we definitely envy your guys' vantage point. For our youth that is on the call and that is interested in pursuing engineering as a future path, what suggestions would you give them? I would love to hear, each of your guys' suggestions. I know all three of you have different stories, different paths to what has gotten you today to be an astronaut and be in space. So I'd love to hear what advice that you have for the youth of the engineering world.
Yeah, Josh, that's a great question. I think as you're well aware, there are a lot of different fields of engineering, and each of them have things that are unique. And what's interesting for me, I'm an aerospace engineer as well, and even within the aerospace engineering field, you have to study a lot of different specialties. So you have to know aerodynamics and electrical engineering and mechanics and all of those kind of things. And so I think the most important things is, as you have an opportunity to look at the various types of engineering, is find that one that just grabs you. Find that one that's you're passionate about, and I think if you do that, you're going to make an amazing engineer.
Yeah, Josh, my suggestion to the young students is three things. One, keep your motivation high. Second, study math and science. Third, actually engage in athletics, because like football, spaceflight is a teamwork.
Josh, I have three things that I usually encourage kids to do no matter what they want to study, and I think these are just important for life. I try to live these out myself. It's to be resilient, to be gritty, to persevere, and not stop in the face of challenges. Engineering is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but don't run from it because it's hard. You grow and you get stronger intellectually and emotionally because of that. Number two is to be a lifelong learner inside the classroom and outside of the classroom, learning those lessons in church, on the field, on the mat, on the track, as well as in the classroom and the laboratory. And number three, to be a good teammate. I think that relates very much to things that Hopper and Soichi have said. Very important. Life is a team sport.
I think you guys really hit it on the head. I hope the students at home are taking notes. I know I am, and I'm excited to apply those wisdoms to even my daily attitude. So I know you guys are moving fast, have a lot to do today. So before we go, we have a couple questions from the students directly that I want to dive into. Our first one is from Everly Evans from Westmont Hilltop Elementary School. And she says, "Astronaut Mr. Glover, my dream is to be on the ISS someday. How did you train to become an astronaut?"
Well, that's a great question, and it actually lasted about 37 years. I was 37 years old when I was selected, but yeah, I chose the route of going into military aviation and got to be a test pilot. I went to graduate school a few times, so a lot of formal education, but again, like I said earlier, a lot of informal education. And then training for this mission, Mike and I have spent almost 3 years training, and Soichi and I for a better part of a year, and it's a lot of teamwork, learning from each other, contributing to one another to the success and listening. So that's the big thing. I would say at your age, find good mentors that you can trust and listen to, and find someone who's done the things that you want to do so that you can learn the lessons that they've already had to learn.
Definitely. I know that that definitely corresponds to a lot that I've learned growing up. Your goals, you have to see, people in those places to see how you can get there and follow their path, follow their journey. So the people that you surround yourself with, the mentors that inspire you on a daily basis, are definitely crucial in your journey to achieving your goals. Okay, our second question, I think this is kind of a group question. It is, how are the jobs of an astronaut and a football player alike? And this one comes from May Chat. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. From 4th Grade Virtual Academy.
Yeah, I love that question. And you can say your training, of course, Victor said it starts from the time you're starting to grow up, but certainly the time on the football field and with the team is a big part of how you become an astronaut and the relationship between the two. One of the examples I like to give is my first mission back in 2013. I had an opportunity to go out on a couple of spacewalks. And there was a moment on those spacewalks when I was inside the airlock and the hatch is open and you're getting ready to go out and do the job. And I realized that I had been there before. This is one of those moments where there's a lot of emotions, as you can imagine, because you're getting ready to go out into the vacuum of space. But it was like being in the tunnel, getting ready to run out on the football field for a game. And all of those same kind of emotions, you're excited, you're nervous, you're very focused, and at the same time, you're getting ready to cross this threshold. You're coming from that locker room where it's safe, and if you stayed in there, nothing bad is going to happen. But you lay it on the line and you cross that threshold and you go out and do the job. And so my experiences playing football helped prepare me for the jobs we do up here on the International Space Station.
Yeah, I think the one of the thing is that like football, every 24 players, 22 players have a different role, and everyone is different. Right now we have 7 astronauts on board. Each of us has different talent and something different to contribute to the team success. So that's the good thing about the space flight and the football.
Hey, Josh, were you going to say something?
No, I was just. I didn't mean to cut you guys off. I was saying, all of our football players that are on call are hearing, the habits that they're creating, the teamwork that they're learning on a daily basis is potentially teaching them how to be a future astronaut. Those that have a passion for engineering, like myself, and have a love and affinity for football. So what they're doing on a daily basis is really setting them up for success in their future career. So now I think we have time for one more question. This one comes from Dylan Dantos from Altoona Area High School. And the question is, do you think that a water engineering specialist is a career path that benefits the planet? If it does, how does it benefit it?
And I think you said water engineering. Is that the field? If I heard you correctly, water engineering was the question. And listen, the basics that you learn in engineering, what you mentioned earlier, Josh, being able to look at a problem and then do analysis, which means to break something down into simple pieces, and then to be able to do synthesis, to find simple things that you can build up into solutions to simple or complex problems. Those fundamentals are true across all fields of engineering, even though there are several, like Mike mentioned. Those skills and that part of your education is vital no matter what you choose to focus in, as long as you know that you can apply those things to multiple disciplines in life. And so I think it would be a great field to study. And water is so vital to human life that I think it's going to be important to any endeavor in the future.
That was a great answer. Appreciate that. All right. I'm sorry. Last question from Liasia. This one's to Mr. Glover. And she asks very candidly, have you ever seen a planet?
Well, I've looked up into the sky with my daughters through our telescope, and I gaze out at the stars often. And being up here, it's no different, except to be a little further from Earth. I find that although the stars are beautiful and seeing sunrises and sunsets are amazing, I am so captivated by the Earth. I actually read a letter that was written by a former astronaut that's we have hanging up here next to where we eat. And he said if he was born in space, he would want to visit the Earth much more than he wanted to visit space. And that really impacted me because our Earth, our home, is beautiful. And for everything I've ever seen through a telescope or gazing up into the night sky, it pales in comparison to that beautiful blue marble that's hanging out there right next to us.
I think that puts a lot into perspective, and it shows us to be appreciative of the earth that we live on, and every day finding ways to make the world around us better, and how we treat people and how we carry ourselves and how we protect the environment. So we appreciate that. Thank you for vividly showing us your vantage point. I know we all aspire to be where you guys are at each day, and we thank you for your hard work. With it being 10:10, that is all the time we have this morning. Commander Hopkins, Commander Glover, Mission Specialist Noguchi, thank you for taking your time to join us on call this morning. I'm personally wishing you much success on your mission. And on behalf of the Pittsburgh Steelers, NASA, United Way, and EverFi, thank you all for taking the time to join us today, and Godspeed on your mission.
Thanks, Josh, and thank you for being a great ambassador of hard work in STEM.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
Thank you. That was fun.